You are big homie CC.
Yes, sir.
What is your background?
My background is like professionally.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, professionally. So I was an athlete. I played professional football 2 years. Then I started my security business because I knew all of the athletes. I started my security business. I became a private bodyguard. I had a fierce reputation, but, I always use verbal de-escalation when necessary, and I made a name for myself. I ended up getting a lot of high-profile jobs, encountered some very questionable individuals, and I ended up pivoting my business to mainly protecting ladies because, if one basketball wife trusts you, word of mouth spreads. And it pretty much snowballed. I had to formulate a company, hire people, build a staff, and then people would call us about loved ones that are getting trafficked or missing. Last year, our team brought home 17 missing people, 4 children, 3 girls, 1 boy.
How does that make you feel when you find a missing person like that?
Jubilation.
Yeah.
Definitely jubilation. It's temporary, though, because oftentimes some of the ladies are involved in a trauma bond with their trafficker. So sometimes they go back.
Shit.
Which is like,
So that's like kind of like a Stockholm syndrome.
Absolutely. Good reference, for sure. For sure.
That's a hard job. Bloody hell. You're an impressive person.
Thank you.
I mean, we were talking off screen just now. I mean, you organize stuff all yourself. You are like, you're the businessman, you're the person. You're also much bigger than people realize.
Right, yeah.
Like, you were just, like, I never seen anything like it. You're taller than me. People don't realize I'm tall because they just see my head.
Understood.
So you can tell them I'm tall.
Yeah, you're a tall guy. You're a tall guy. I feel like you might be a little bit taller than me.
About the same height.
But definitely about the same height.
Well, your width is the same as my height.
For sure, yeah. I'm big and tall.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so, look, I'm among the high-profile people, one of the people that you've been talking about recently, you were on Piers Morgan,
right.
And you're talking about Sean Combs, who many will know as Diddy.
Absolutely.
Others who are not that into music will know as Puff Daddy.
Right.
I only knew that song, I'll Be Missing You, which was that Sting remix.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I mean, it's a good song.
That's a great song. The Sting version.
Sting version, of course, yeah.
And then the Puff Daddy version's nice as well. So how did you get into his sort of, is it circle or his sphere how did that all sort of happen?
Yeah, so it all started, I was head of security at a nightclub in Chicago called The Vibe, located at 1534 North Kingsbury, owned by Joey Vartanian. And they had booked them for an event. And like in Chicago, throughout that time, like whenever talent or anyone of stature or status would come to the city, like people would call me to keep them safe. So after the nightclub event ended, he had an after party. The owner of the club says they wanted me to go. And then some of their friends wanted to go attend, so they had me with their group attending the party. And that's when I got to learn the darker, more sinister side of going to these socializing mixers amongst the stars in the States. So
do you remember where you were or how you felt the first time you saw something in some of the Diddy parties where you went, hey, whoa, what's that?
Yeah, he comes out and collects everybody's cell phone and puts it in a bag, everyone. And then, a guy comes out asking people to sign NDAs and stuff like that. I'm like, what kind of party is this? Like, I don't think this is a place I want to frequent. So, I would always tell my client, like, look, I'm not going to be a part of the festivities. I'm going to wait outside in the vehicle. If you need me, call me, and I'll come inside and regulate if necessary. And I had to regulate a couple times.
What kind of thing did you have to regulate?
When you got guys offering narcotics on plates, you can have your pick, things can take a lascivious turn. And, I feel like if a lady's inebriated, she shouldn't have any more drinks. She should be cut off. I don't think you should feed her more alcohol and more drugs for the satisfaction of taking advantage. That's something that would take place often. And, you know, I don't feel like as a man, as a gentleman, you should just be idly by or being silent. You should probably do something about it. And then it came to the point where people were offering me money to do things about it. So it's like, you know, I'm not a hired goon that's just going to show up and maliciously attack somebody. But there are ways to hold people accountable.
So people would come to you and say, look, Diddy or whoever else has been giving too many drugs to these women and taking advantage of them. Can you come and attack someone?
Well, ladies will call me and say, yeah, we drank a bottle and we passed out and woke up with no clothes on, stuff like that.
Shit.
Yeah. And
they want you to sort of enact revenge.
For sure.
What is the sort of, I mean, that presumably wouldn't be illegal, would it, for you to go about attacking?
But this is all allegedly.
Okay, yeah. So drugs are being given out on like plates, too much to some women who are being taken advantage of. And go on.
So, you know, you got the situation where their cell phones have been removed from them. Mm. And then now all of the party favors are available. You know, I always tell people, look, I'm not going to judge you on what you do, but take things in doses. Because, you know, you can't really control people at these parties. And then if you're the security, you're the bodyguard, you're going to be responsible for them regardless. So I try to make my job easy as possible. And, you know, I don't hold it against a person if I know they're off of a substance. Because, you know, those things are popular because people get to have a good time and they get to step outside their comfort zone and push boundaries. When that gets involved, usually somebody gets the short end of the stick, though. Because if you're sober, getting everybody drunk and high, you're going to have the advantage in that situation. Mm-hmm. And it's usually not going to be a good advantage for those people.
Was Sean Combs or Diddy staying sober?
Right, because you would never see him do anything. Mm. But, you know, while he was under federal investigation, he was arrested with drugs. So
right.
That's the thing.
What are some of the, because I know the allegations about him are far and wide, but some of my viewers won't be familiar necessarily with it. What are some of the allegations about him?
Some of the allegations are as follows. Paying people to engage in sex acts with other people while he watches in a sort of voyeur situation. Hmm. And, you know, some of the people in the case said, look, this is not what I normally do. And then he would organize these sexcapades and have himself disguised. He's in a disguise going around coaching people on what to do, recording with his phone, pleasing himself.
Did people know it was him? Was it a good disguise?
People didn't know it was him.
How good is this disguise?
Did you see his Halloween costume when he dressed up as the Joker?
No. So
there was no way to tell that was him.
91% watching Heretics clips are not subscribed. Quick favor, hit subscribe. Free, takes 2 seconds, and helps us question everything together.